Very good morning, all of you. So it's wonderful to connect with all of you at this point of time because some emotion which all of us experience commonly. I was always wondering what connects human being at any point of time, right? I mean, there are certain times we all are connected with emotion of celebration, right? There are certain times we all are connected with an emotion of happiness, right? So if you ask me, in the history of mankind, what is the emotion which is connecting all of us today is the emotion of uncertainty. Uncertainty means this. Uncertainty means we are not sure what is going to come up next. Maybe if you ask me even a week from now, 10 days from now, 1 month from now, I mean, it's common across the globe. That is the most interesting part, or that is the most, what do you call, something which you have never experienced in the past, right? One time, or once in our lifetime kind of experience. So that is something what we are going through. So at this point of time, I'm so privileged to have Dr. Chitra Aravind with me. Because Dr. Chitra Aravind, she comes with almost 20 years plus of experience. She is the founder of Manas, right? And she has large experience of counseling people, working with the human life. So it's an opportunity, privilege for me to have her as part of this particular event. So one of the key things which I would like to learn from her today, I would like to listen to her today is say what are all the typical challenges of mind, right, which is going to come up not only now we all know, I mean, all of us, I mean, majority of us are staying at home, and say we have started doing certain things what is possible, we feel we can do more. All those things are the emotions which we're going through. So I'm also very curious, or very keen to know, post this, right, what are all the emotions which people are going to go through. I mean, is it something which, because I'm sure even well experienced doctors like her, maybe it's going to be a first time experience, right? They might have seen different kind of people, they might have met different kind of people, they have counseled a lot of them, but this is completely a new experience. So I will first, as I've just introduced Dr. Chitra, so I would like to listen from her. Yes, Dr. Chitra, please.
Okay. So, very good morning to all of you here. And first of all, I would like to thank the only success, Mr. Vidya Shankar, for organizing such a webinar at this uncertain situation about COVID-19. So, I hope my audio is clear for all of you.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So here, as he said rightly, we are all going through an uncertain period. So the emotions are definitely going to be maladaptive. So what I mean by maladaptive is, which is not going to help us to sustain during this period. And what next also we have to see. Like I would compartmentalize into short-term effects as well as long-term effects after this COVID-19. What I would say is maybe the next 3 to 6 months, the human mentality, the emotions and the feelings, emotions and the thoughts would be different, and maybe the post that 6 months, then again it's going to be going for a different thing, different toss. So here, as we put in the brochure also, it's going for, actually we are going to change the belief system also. This COVID-19 has even carved our belief system, like whatever we believe. See, human experiences is all about learning. Right from childhood, apart from the genetics and whatever it has bestowed on us, we all learn from our life experiences, good things, bad things that has shaped us till now. So this COVID-19 has taught a major lesson for all of us. So that learning experience, that too, it has brought about a lot of emotional changes. So the changes would be very strong, and it remains in us for a long period of time. So, but then we should see whether these changes are adaptive or maladaptive. Is it going to be doing some good for us or bad for us? And I would say it is a mix of both. But then as we look into the attitude, like what we look into matters a lot. For example, we'll say half glass of water. One person may see a half full of it, but then the other person will see the empty part of it. So it depends on how we are going to look at the situation. So this COVID-19 obviously has been very negative and depressing experience for all of us in the whole world. But then it depends upon how we look at it and how are we going to adapt ourselves to the scenario will change us actually. So everybody is put in the same situation right now. COVID-19 is similar for all the people who's experiencing the situation, but how people are going to respond is going to differentiate all of us into maybe different categories. For example, one category would be like, very succumbed by this kind of situations, that they are like stunned by the situation and what to do. They cannot even get up and come back or bounce back for whatever the stresses this COVID-19 is given. They would have completely off because of the scenario. So that is very, it's not good actually. It is very devastating. So there may be one portion of people like that, and the next portion of people is like they're already hurt by this kind of experiences, but still they can just go on with their lives, but not with a lot of productivity. The loss is there, but they just walk, they just go along. But there are other different compartment of people who would take it as an adversity, as a challenge, and bounce back from the adversity. So that is we call the resilient, the bunch of people, the resilient people. The so-called resilient people can bounce back from whatever adversity this COVID-19 has given, and they would come back in a more positive way. They can adapt to the scenario. And the last is like what we call it is in a post-traumatic stress. They are like growth also we could see. There are some set of people who can even grow beyond this trauma, what this COVID-19 has given. So people have to decide which type of people they are going to be like. Obviously, it's not going to be the number one because it's going to be very bad. Because we can also expect some suicides also can happen in future if you are going to be in the part one category, where we are like succumb to the stress and what we just accept whatever this COVID-19 has given us and not ready to just given up everything, not ready to even fight with it. So the stress can be various things. It can emanate from various sources. One source is majorly finance. So all the sectors are finding a very difficult situation, and economic loss is a major cause of stress. And that is one. And next one would be to relationship. Lot of issues now. We could listen from the media that lot of domestic violence is increasing nowadays. So relationship, go on for a toss in case of relationship as well, and also academics. The students who are facing the board exams as well as 10th and plus 2 are in a very uncertain time, that too in their teen period. Teenage is already a period of stress and storm, and they are now facing this kind of uncertainty in their life, which is going to have an impact on their physical as well as mental health. And obviously, this COVID-19 situation, if not tackled or handled properly, it can have an impact on your physical health as well as your mental health. So these are the repercussions, what we are going to face in the short term as well as in the long term, if we don't handle it in a right way.
Correct. See, Dr. Chitra, just taking a few points from whatever you have told, because I actually come from the world of NLP or neuro-linguistic programming.
Okay.
See, we strongly used to believe, right? Everything is defined by people's mind, right? I mean, it's completely because you are telling certain people will be resilient, certain people may not be able to handle it. There are extreme cases like suicides may happen. So all the set of things. One of the things what I would like to hear from you is what is the difference between people? Why somebody is extremely impacted? Because assuming the situation is almost the same, right? For everybody, they are going through a lot of challenges. Everybody is going through, like how you said, financial challenges are going to be part of this particular experience of human life. Say relationships are going to be either greatly strained, or because I am also coming across people who are telling, oh, I got a lot of time with my family, which I never got before. I'm able to spend tremendous time with my children. So I am able to understand a lot about my child, which I never had that time before, right? These things are also happening. Like how you said, we are also coming across in news channels where, oh, there is a lot of domestic violence, which has increased, right? The number of domestic violence cases have gone up a lot just because almost people are there at home, so that opportunity to say get into these kind of issues are higher, right? This is also coming across, we are coming across. And again, when it comes to academics, you highlighted academics. I'm coming across two categories of people. One, they are seeing this as a serious opportunity, because I'm coming across parents, because we interact a lot with parents. I'm coming across parents who started asking questions. Oh, this kind of learning sounds better, right? My child is not like constrained to learn only few subjects, right? Always learning only that 5 or 6 subjects and spending 8 hours in school, have to do the transportation, morning, evening, all those things. Instead, this gives lot of flexibility to my child, right? I mean, predominantly children who can learn online. This is a boon time, right? Where they can get the skill what they want, and they can acquire the skills which may be relevant to life, right? Which unfortunately, good number of times we may not get it from the education system, or I mean, good number of times, right? So my question is, or my thing which I'm thinking aloud is, see what makes the difference. Why somebody is able to see this as a time where I can do different set of things, maybe push myself up to this situation and lead my or alter my life for the future for better, or somebody else is completely giving up and think, oh, it's all, life is over, right? Is it primarily because of financial situations, or is it to do with mindset, or it is some other factor? I mean, it will be good if you can have your thoughts added to this.
Sure. Yeah, so the question here is, as you put rightly, there are people who are actually seeing it as a positive experience as well. So that's a good deal. Actually, if you go on, keep writing, you can see a lot of positive things which has happened in our life because of COVID-19 as well. But there are two set of people, as you said. One set of people would look into the positive side of it, then other side only can look into the negative side of it. So how I differentiated this four categories of people, as I told earlier, is because of their genetics, or the hereditary. It is because of their gene of who they are, the biological part of it. Next is their personality, which plays a substantial role in defining how people respond to the situation. So that, but many people are not aware of. Even I told, like, there are two personality characteristics like introversion and extroversion. And at this COVID-19 situation, extrovert people would literally go mad, because they are the ones who love to get the energy from outside and like to hang out with people, talk to people, and having having them inside these four walls with their parents or with their spouses is like very demeaning for them, very depressing for them. So this personality makes a lot of difference. And next is their life experiences. Life experiences means like they're only all the sources of stress, like financial issues, or how their relationship with their spouse, or how is their children responding to them, and what are the family environment. All this will come in that segment. So these are three factors or categories of things who differentiate people into these four compartments. So, but the answer is, whatever your experiences might be, irrespective of your genetics or your personality or your family situation or life experiences, we all have to look into the category of becoming, how to become resilient, or even to the most positive things of how to even bounce back and then come back with a lot of growth as well. This like a post-traumatic growth, we call it as. So that is a even more good thing to happen in anyone's life. So the first two category of people should try to become resilient. By that I will tell you later, maybe how to become resilient, how to become like the category 3 people. So even the category 1 people and 2 people who may kind of like giving up or becoming succumbed, they may also experience a mental health issue already. So now of late I've been getting clients who have been already with some anxiety issues, anxiety or OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, or cleaning their hands. These are one of the symptoms of it. So what happens is, during this COVID-19, their situation will be more and much more worse now. Their anxiety will be multiplied now. So because of their mental health issue also, they are not able to cope with the challenges of their life. See, first of all, mental health is not looked into. And we are only thinking about physical health right now also, COVID-19 and what we do and all that. But what is the impact it has on our mental health is something, the other side of the coin, which is not looked into. But it's very important that we look into, because mental health is not only absence of, the disorders like BP or sugar, or a lack of mental health problems like I don't have anxiety issues, I don't have OCD issues. It's not about that. It is about enjoying your physical health, mental health, as well as social well-being. So WHO has defined mental health in such a way, it's not only mere absence of disease, but the presence of mental well-being, physical well-being, as well as social well-being. And if you're not enjoying this well-being, that means you're not having a proper mental health. And what happens if a person does not enjoy a positive mental health is, he may not have the, the stamina to look into the challenges the life throws at him. And he cannot cope with stress, and he cannot be productive. And it can have an impact on his mental and physical health. And he cannot live a meaningful life as well. And his lifestyle choices will be poor. For example, we'll say sleeping on time, eating thrice a day a meal, nutritious meal, and having some moderate exercises. People low in mental health cannot follow this lifestyle properly, and they will not have the self-discipline to follow this. So that will have a direct impact on their physical and mental health. Again, so it's like a vicious thing happening. So to answer your question, so these four different people, it is based on these kind of experiences. Maybe they are having poor mental health, or and because of that also a lot of issues can happen, as I told you right now. And their genetic material may be different, like the hereditary is different, and life experiences are different, and personality is different. That is why they are not able to cope up with the COVID-19 situation in a positive way. As you said, there are a set of people who are able to see the positive side of it, but similar situation only, these the same kind of people are not able to even see the single positive side of it, and same complaining that I'm depressed, bored, frustrated, and all that. So it is very ironical. Like we are all put in the same situation. Like the egg is put in water, and also potato is put in water. But how it comes out depends on how the material which is put into it, not because of the situation or the people. That many people don't understand. Okay, right. So that is a major part.
Right, and say it will be curious, or I'll be curious to look into your say what do you call the appointment sequence or appointment diary, right? Just to check, is the calls what you are getting, is the request what you are getting right now, is it completely different than your normal set of days? I mean, or different kind of people whom you are meeting, people coming up to you with different kind of challenges, or specifically what is it you are facing as a doctor, right? I mean, you should be facing, maybe that's my perception. I'm not sure whether things have changed at this point of time.
Yeah. So different category of people. Generally also the stress was there even before. We could even put the situation like pre-COVID and post-COVID situations, where even in pre-COVID-19 situation, there were a lot of stress and strains and mental health issues. For all these things, people were approaching a counselor or a psychologist. But then post-COVID, I could see there are significant rise in the persons who are complaining about anxiety and fear around this COVID-19. Will I acquire it? I've touched the key, and they are even actually confining themselves into their own home, and they're not even willing to go out. Even for a very basic need also, they're not going out. Even for getting their medical reserves also, they are not going out. And they're typically getting these negative thoughts and not able to even get out of their work, and they are becoming very unproductive, even though people who are working from home I'm talking about. So, and also very surprisingly, 8-year-old, 9-year-old children are also having this fear. It's even the 8-year-old, 10-year-old children, their fear factor is even more, because usually in this age, in the developmental years, these children will have some uncertain fears. But because of this COVID-19, they are not able to comprehend the situation properly about what is happening, because they don't know. This uncertainty is too high. And what is the only difference I could observe post-COVID is I'm getting cases even from children, like 8-year-old, 10-year-old children, and the parents are calling to say that no, they are having a lot of fear factor and anxiety, and they started to wash hands more now to get rid of this COVID-19 virus. So these are the significant rises. And also I'm getting some issues about the marital situation also, couple counseling. So, but I would see some little positivity happening here because of husband and wife being at the same place. Now the interactions are much better now. Communication is much more better, and the stress is little less. That I would only say for people who are not in a dual career family. If they are in a dual career family, the stress is even more high, because the woman stays at home. She has to not take the multiple roles, and again take care of the husband who is again working from home. So, but still that physical presence is there. That they are saying is more soothing, and they need not call every time, and people are not insecure. At least they are at home now. So these are the few things about only the anxiety disorder has increased post COVID-19. And I would say even much more cases will come. Depression may be on high, because people, very ambitious people with a lot of expectation and wanting to do in IIT, Fiji, and there are a lot of students also wanting to go to foreign universities.
Exactly.
But now they are even reshaping about, should I even go there? Is it even safe out there? Their parents are at least giving again a thought about it. So a lot of their ambitions, they said like, I want to do many things, but then I am like shattered right now. So their depression is on the high now. So post COVID, right now, actually not a lot of mental health disorder will come out, because we are all in only one mode, survival mode. That we all should understand. We are all in the survival mode. We are all like in the war front. We are all like just facing the war now. So we can't even think of whether my leg is aching or my head is aching. They can only face the drama right now. But once the war situation is over, only then you'll know what all the physical problem, mental problem is going to be on the high rise after, I would say. That is my prediction as a psychologist. It's going to be on the high only after the situation has come to a normal scenario. Only then they'll be looking into their financial problems, and then only they'll be looking into the relationship problems. Right now, survival mode is on.
Oh,
So you also know, as a person as a Maslow's theory, that applies here right now.
right.
Maslow's need theory, yeah.
Correct. So that was a good analogy. It makes a lot of things clear, right? Say it's a war, right? So primary thought process right now is survival. So how to survive through this situation, how to come out of it alive. So your mind is engaged, because I'm seeing there is a phenomenal rise in say people watching movies. I mean, that's what all the channels claim. So all the news items, I mean, that's what is typically mind consumes a lot right now. So all those other real challenges of life have been kept away for a while, right? Because it's not pressing it so hard right now. So that has been kept aside, and we are fighting or going through a war. And as you said, the post this is what will be a challenge which we have to handle. And another interesting aspect, what you have actually told, because in the science of NLP, we used to say 0 to 7 is what we used to call it as the age of imprinting age, which means 0 to 7 is when the belief systems of a child is formed. So whatever they believe during that age, it remains with them till the last day of their life. This is something what I have learned in my very early days of NLP, right? And so if you go through children today, one of the question is like, because I strongly believe, I mean, in one of my previous sessions, I was actually telling when it comes to children, so they can translate this experience in any way, right? I mean, this is predominantly a translator which we need to use right now. Is this going to be a very powerful, positive experience in life, or it is going to be something a deeply negative experience in life? Is it going to install a lot of positive beliefs for us, or is it going to install a lot of negative belief for us, right? Because today also we are going to see, or there is a strong faith somebody can believe, okay, anyway, we will survive through all these things, and this is a phase which this will also pass, right? This is something which I am also hearing good number of times, maybe in certain medias, or some of the people who come up to say, okay, this is also a period which we will cross, which we will go through, we will come alive. So those kind of thoughts. So if you go ahead, so in a long run, right, if you need to list down, these are all the possible impacts. Maybe I would like to know both ways, both positive and negative impacts, what this scenario can create in human life. I mean, primarily children, because we handle every day, any day, maybe we handle over 60,000 children, right? From various schools, we interact with them. Our trainers go ahead to interact with them. So specifically, if we can highlight few things for children also, that will be very interesting. Otherwise, what are all the long-term positive impact? Is there any positive impact? Because people actually wonder when I ask this question, are there really any positive impact? And similar to that, what are all the negative impacts out of this scenario? And if we say negative, so we will definitely think through how to actually handle those negative impacts, right? How to actually come out of those negative impacts.
Okay. Yeah. So first, I will answer your question about the first 7 years of age you were talking about. So it is very important. Even in transactional analysis theory of psychology, we talk about, Eric Berne has told about this, because that actually determines our fate as well. We call it as like, even before going to an astrologer, first 7 years is your fate. And if you are not given any intervention, then the fate will go on as well, like already what is written in the first 7 years of age. So I would here only I would encourage the parents. They are the very important agents to make some meaning in their children's heads right now. especially the children who are in the first 7 years or even till 10, 12 years also. What I would say is because at this point of time, the children are not very good at comprehending the situation. For them, it is like looking black and white. They are not clear. It's not black and white. It's gray only. It's not clear for them. So as a parent, you are the one who have to intervene and sit and talk with your children. And meaning making we call in psychology. Like what meaning you have to put in your brain when the child's mind is in your hand. You can even put a negative story or a positive story. So it is in the parents' hand because now they are only at their home, confined at home. They are not getting influenced by any other societal things. So parents can very well intervene at this juncture and tell a lot of positive things which have been happening. At least even if they don't believe in also, let us tell some positive things and put in the children's head so that in the future would be more positive. Or if they're going to tell a lot of negative things and tell as if the world is so insecure and I don't know, my generation has not faced it, I don't know what kind of generation you're going to live in, this kind of negative talks, even within the couple or within the family they're going to talk, it's going to have a serious impact. And in future, your child can even turn out to be anxious and very negative and lose trust also in the whole world and life. So it is very important that parents have to only send some positivity into their children's mind. Because it's not about situation what's happening, how we take it, as I'm already insisting, it's called meaning making. We are narrating it. So let's narrate it in a positive way so that children will not be so much affected because of this period. Because children don't know like what's happening. They think, okay, it's like a nice extended summer period for me. I can be at home. And exceptions are those children who are going through online schools. Pity on them. So except for them, other children are having a good time, I would say. Except for those people who wants to go rough and tough and play. Nowadays are all already more than 70% children are with gadgets only. So they are very heavenly right now with gadgets. That too, it's a summer time. COVID-19 is sitting in the summer time. So nothing to study also. So it's like a heaven period for them, I would say. Getting food on time and having everything on time and all this is fine. So it will not have a much impact on them. So talking about COVID-19, a positive and negative impact. Positive impact, there are many. See, for example, the other side is always green, we would say, and we will not be able to see the other side once we hold an opinion on something. It's very difficult to see the other part of it. So people who are only looking into the positive side cannot look into the negative and vice versa. So for negative people, the people with negative attitude, what I'm going to say would be like, oh, is it even possible? So those are the positive impact, even is it even existing because of COVID-19? See, it has brought about a lot of changes in our belief system. First of all, any citizens, especially South Indians, you would ask them, they will say that I want a house on my own. I want the one property at least in my name, registered in my name. So this belief system might go for a toss because now it's about the survival thing which has come up and they want to live a life. Already youngsters have entered this place wherein they want to live for a day happily because they are even getting into drugs because of that. I want to enjoy the day because life is short. Enjoy is the one word now, one word thing for all the youngsters and even elders and for the forthcoming generations also, Gen Z we call 2000 bonds, are also going to adopt this belief system that live for the day. And one more learning also they will have that we need to have some cushion thing as a finance or a savings. Savings are important. Like we are sitting jobless for 1 or 2 months. If you don't have any savings and you are going to only expect from your every month salary, it's going to be disastrous. So they will understand the importance of money as well. At least we should have some savings now, right now. Only then you can, like we say in exams, don't prepare last minute. What if something goes wrong? We need to have that cushion time. Similarly, we need to have the cushion money also, finance. You'll have to plan ahead. So that learning, if you're not really open about it, you need to at least understand that you should have that. We don't know what is the uncertain period going to be like. Even if it's going for 6 months or so, we need to have the financial reserve. We can't just live for the day. So for the youngsters who may think that I can live for the day because the life is so uncertain, please also remember that if one more wave hits, you should be ready for that to sustain that wave. You should be all prepared. Have the foresight. And what are the positive things COVID-19 has taught us is to minimalism. Now the theory of minimalism is on the round, that we are happy and satisfied with the minimum needs. We are not going for a Gucci, I'm talking about women who are not going about the Gucci handbags anymore or any nice makeup products or beauty parlors. Now we are only with the minimal thing. We are surviving with the minimal things. Similar goes with the men also. They are not looking out for any parties right now or going to foreign countries for vacation. Only thing is just whatever we are having, groceries and few things, whatever we have to survive on, those are the things which are looking, and this will also sustain for a period of time. It will also, there are a lot of chances that this belief system will be strong, getting more strong. Why should we even just hold a lot of things which we don't like? Let's live with what things which is minimally important for us. And they have started to understand the meaning of relationships, especially old age people, when they like my relatives or my friends whom I ever talked to. Earlier they told that please leave us alone and we want to be on our own, like community health homes or something like that, community setup. But
Exactly.
now they're thinking that I should see my daughter who's in foreign, I should see my son, and I should be with some people. And I don't see anymore. You are a burden. You need to be with me. They also just understand, they appreciate the importance of relationship now. So good things. Actually, COVID-19, if you see it one perspective, it has taught us a lot of very very costly lessons to us.
Right.
So that will stay and change the whole belief system. See, belief system will form only after a very major changes in our life. So
Exactly.
this COVID-19 has rewritten our belief system for a positive things also. Negative things, as I told you, see, people who are not very resilient or tough enough only will succumb to the situation, because they may think it is like end of the road. Already I had some plans. So people who are having this rigidity, the personality issues, and already some mental health issues, they may give up on life. So money, I don't think I can earn any more money. Whatever I had in mind is gone. So for people who are in business, they would have investment. They would have made some investment.
Right.
So for those people also, they find it very difficult to sustain it. So even then, I'm telling you, it is not about the stress and strain what you're facing in life. It's about how you respond. So here I need to talk about Viktor Frankl. I think some of the participants would have heard of him. Viktor Frankl, who has written a book on logotherapy, meaning of life. So it's very important that even if you don't have anything in hand, even now you can restart your life. In this concentration camp, he was treated very badly and very negatively. He lost all his family members, but still he understood that for some purpose I'm living. Then
Right.
only he understood the purpose of life. So in COVID-19 situation, I would urge all the people to understand their meaning and purpose of life, and really find out, come out of your automatic pilot mode and think, why am I even living? Why God has given me life and why am I not dying? So what should I actually do to the society or to myself, to the community? Why are we even living? Any child born in this whole world has got some meaning attached to it. So time to understand our meaning and purpose and go behind it, not like going behind something which is not even our cup of tea.
Right, because one thing which stays with my mind is what you are mentioning about relationships, primarily relationships with elders, because now it is becoming a trend where even elders feel I want to be independent, because
Mm.
there are a lot of elderly homes coming up
Yes.
all across, right, across the country. That is becoming a major real estate thing which is coming up. There are elderly homes because what they thought, or the thought process is, see, I need a good environment to live. Maybe I want food on time, and I want medical facility. This is what was the thought. Today's environment proves it wrong, right? I mean, all those things means nothing if I don't have the people along with me, right? So they want to connect. I mean, I'm sure today more video call happens with the family than ever before, right? I mean, same set of people, when as they were abroad or something, they are almost connecting every day, checking how are you, how you are doing, right? All these things, not because of anxiety alone, which is also a factor, but apart from it, there is also a factor of where you are missing them, right? Where, as you said, the meaning of relationship has come back, not only between the parent and the child. It is even when you have a elderly parent, right? Then they feel, even as elders, I think they are rethinking, because they started feeling, many of them started feeling, am I a burden to my family? So now that thought is questioned, and that thought has been challenged. So it is time to rethink, as we were always feeling. We are getting back to a lot of basics, right? And say we are realizing ourselves, we are moving. I mean, we are living without going to malls. We are living without going to movie theaters. All those things are possible. I mean, predominantly when it comes to city life, right? But when you go ahead, check in rural areas, one thing what we can possibly learn from them is people are looking at a self-sustaining life, which means you are able to sustain yourself with whatever maybe resources you have.
Mm.
That is something was way of life which we may possibly learn out from this situation. And predominantly, one thing which I'm very keen of is how we are going to translate this particular experience of life. As we all know, it is a lifetime experience. It is, I don't think it is ever going to come back, any of us in lifetime, because I always have understood this is a cycle. 100 years back, this has happened, right? 1919, Spanish flu was the last pandemic in the world, and we are in 2020. So, approximately once in 100 years, it comes around, because events in the world happens in a cycle. So it is not going to be seen again. So, if you look at it from that perspective, we can go ahead look forward for a lot of learnings out of this, right? Maybe where we can recreate a lot of new useful beliefs, recreate a lot of new useful habits. All those things are possible. See, one thing which I would like to maybe have it as a last point of discussion, and after this, maybe we'll take up some questions from people who have joined today. Is this? See, completely we are going to redefine the way we are working, right? It's going to be different, is what I feel.
Yes.
Because I still remember, I read some 7 or 8 years back, I read a quote from Richard Branson of Virgin Airlines. So, where the question was this, he was asking a question to the world, maybe should you have your offices, right? And he was also telling this, see, 2030, the kids will ask or will be surprised to know all of us started from home, went to a common place, were doing something the whole day and then coming back home, right? So, because that will be the past. So, why you guys were doing it? Why you people are doing it? The kids of 2030 will ask you this question. This was a thought from Richard Branson, maybe some 5-6 years back. I read this quote, right? And in a normal course of time, maybe in 2030, it should have been a fact. But I feel maybe it may even happen in 5 years from now, 6 years from now, right? So, as a doctor, what kind of psychological impact it will have on people? What do you think? I mean, the way we are alter our working, right? Is that going to be way of life? Definitely yes. That's going to be one way of people have to learn, connect with people online, right? So I would like to know what kind of impact it will have on all of us.
Okay. Yeah, so when it comes to working atmosphere, every employers are now thinking about how to redefine it, because we have to look into the mental health also of the employees now. There'll be a lot of insecurities right now. Whether will I get the salary for this month, or will I be even retained, because they'll be afraid about the performance appraisal. So here again, the question of the survival of the fittest. So whoever is a fit only will be retained, others will be like chucked out of the company. And even here, our post this thing, and many employer association have come out, the governmental organization have come out, the ideas of how an employer should have all these provisions at their work also. Social distancing have to maintain, and the sanitizers have to be kept, and I don't think is there any going to be like even hugging or even handshaking is going to happen in future. So they will all maintain their social distancing. At least this fear will be lingering in our head for next 1 year, because we have to go back to see like how, if you're going to touch the switchboard, and if it gives a shock, depending on people, there are people even will not even touch that switch button for a month also, afraid that it will give me shock now. Okay, but only after that we'll let go of that fear. Similarly, COVID-19 has instilled a lot of fear about survival in us. So even meeting a person from the neighborhood also we are afraid of. So once these people are going slowly from their home to their work atmosphere, they are not going to talk on the face-to-face conversation. That will be definitely redefined. So they'll be using this technology. As you said, technology is going to be the next thing, like artificial intelligence and all this. That is going to be the order of the day. And we are going to have more this kind of webinars or online meets rather than direct or group workshops. Now itself, I know an organization where I worked as a consultant for. They've actually stopped anyway, the government has stopped their direct training thing and all. They have gone to e-learning now, online learning. So they were not actually prepared for it, but this short period they bounced back and they immediately got adapted and they are ready with the system, and now they've even started the online course charging money. So see, these are the people who are adapting quickly to the situation. They are the ones who are going to survive. And if you're going to take 3 months, 4 months, 6 months and say, oh, should I do this? Then you will be out of the market. So people have to immediately bounce back and see what is the next. So if you're not very good technologically, all the employers have to, and employees also, the work front is going to be, in the future is all about technology. You should learn about how to talk to people and all this internet, Zoom and everything, whatever is on the thing, except for IT people, other people will have a challenge here, especially those who cross their 40s, 50s. But I would really urge them to adapt. This is one way of adaptation. But like this, there are many challenges going to be in the work industry in future. So the only one word as a psychologist I would say is be prepared for the change. Change is the order of the day, and adaptation is the key. Like a chameleon maybe put in a negative way, but definitely, I don't know whether I'm sure you would have heard about Who Moved My Cheese. Who Moved My Cheese was a bestseller, and it's even available in YouTube. And I would urge the participants to watch that Who Moved My Cheese YouTube video. It's just a 10 minutes cartoon video, which tells us the importance of why we should accept change and go with the flow. It is very important. Whatever the challenges are going to be thrown at the work industry, don't have insecurity. If you're prepared, you're prepared, and then they're ready to have you. They'll be ready to have you. If you're reluctant and all that, only they may even rethink. Or when you're prepared, when you're ready to accept any kind of challenges from the work front, definitely they will also retain you. So the only thing is, I would tell the employees and employees is adaptation is the key. Whatever the challenge, we don't even know the future how it is going to be like that. Definitely it's going to be technology. Technology is going to be the order of the day, and you need to be adapting to that. And various other changes also. Sales meeting may not be direct, and everything is going to be redefined. Immediately you have to switch on to a machines, and you have to invest for that. And many employers are now also thinking about how do I even sell my products. A lot of people are going for that kind of stage of development. Or if you're going to sit and think, oh my God, everything is gone, now what should I do? If 1 minute of such thought is going to ruin your productivity 2 times. And if you're going to immediately accept and then see what next, that is the right kind of attitude to have right in this situation. Accept it, just go out and what next it should be your idea. Not like thinking, oh my God, this has happened, that has happened. Don't go to the past. Be futuristic. What next? And immediately we can do. See, you have to think about Japan. About after all the disaster they went through, they bounced back even with the positivity. Similarly, we also should think how we can come back. Use all your talents, use all your, you have to see, you will have to be confident. That is the key. For self-confidence, no matter what. That will help us to adapt any scenario.
Exactly. Say what we will do at this point of time is we will take up some of the questions. So I will take the help of Sampath to just maybe highlight questions.
Fine. One question from Ms. Vibita. What's your opinion about online classes to children? What is the appropriate age to attend the online classes effectively?
Okay.
This you could answer,
give the answer because I feel maybe for us, I mean for parents of today, the digital learning was something which came up, or even mobile phones or laptops or systems all came up much later in your life, right? You came into the world first, then only all these devices, everything came into this world. But for your children, that is not the case, right? When they were born, everything was available. I mean, say, assume a child who is in 3rd standard or 4th standard today. When they were born, there was WhatsApps, there were Facebook, there were internet connectivity. Everything was available. So they were more of digitally enabled kids, digitally enabled human beings compared to us. So for them, when it comes to learning, right, whatever we assume, that capability to learn digitally is far, far higher than whatever we think. So one of the biggest challenges what possibly parents face today is, okay, will they get diverted, right? Because once I'm online, I get all the options to do anything I want. So that is one very genuine concern for most of the parents. But if you ask me whether children today can learn online faster than you and me, any of us, definitely yes, because their capability to learn online is far higher. And if you ask from what age it can happen, see, typically till the age of 3 or 4, definitely there is a guidance required. Otherwise, also assume there is no digital learning. The children of 3, 4, they definitely need some support. But if it is interactive, relatively the support required is much lesser, right? They can actually do certain things by themselves. And I'll also take the thoughts of Dr. Chitra.
Yeah, online learning, we can, as soon as they can comprehend, that is to say from the age of 7 itself, their online learning can start. That's my opinion on the same. Because once they are able to learn in the schools where the teachers in front of them, online learning is nothing different from that now, except that they are talking through a screen. So, but then the learning has to be, we have to see who's the provider. The learning has to be put in such a way so that the children can grasp it very easily. The concepts have to be put in such a way, not like a lecture or something. For a 7-year-old kid, in a what way, in a playful method or something, then it can be fine. So, but then you should not make the children sit all the time for online learning. Probably 1 or 2 hours per day would do, because definitely sitting in front of gadget would not be advisable at this age. So I would say it can start from 7 to 8 years of age.
True. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Fine. There's another question from Ms. Bindu. Question is, could you talk about the mental health of NRIs who are about to come back jobless?
Okay. I think this question is to Dr. Chitra.
Chitra, specifically to Dr. Chitra.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could you talk about the mental health of NRIs who are about to come back jobless?
Yeah, sure. So as some of the participants requested, I think we'll have to keep the participant's name confidential, I guess. Some of them requested that way. Okay, so to answer this question, NRI, again, always, whenever a person is facing any stress, it is always a stress only. So we have to compartmentalize, categorize into two. One is whether it is in your control or it is out of your control. This answer is for all the people who is experiencing any kind of stress. Please try to fit into this analogy. You can understand it better. Ask yourself whether you are the one who is having this emotions or stress, or everyone is going through. In this question for NRIs, whoever is an NRI will go through a similar stress. So this is a real stressor. It is not a perceived or a unrealistic one. So the truth. And one thing, is it in your control or is it out of your control? The thing is, it is out of your control. COVID-19 stress is completely uncertain and completely out of our control. Nothing is in my control right now. So in that situation, I would usually use a prayer called Serenity Prayer. It is very effective one. That is, it goes like that. There are only two things in this whole world. There are certain things which we can change. There are certain things which we cannot change. So the prayer goes like this: the God, you have to please give me the courage to change the things I can. Whatever courage I can, whatever things can be changed, please give me the courage. And please give me the acceptance capacity to accept things which we cannot change. Okay, so things which we cannot change, we have to accept it. And next, the major thing comes here, the wisdom to understand the difference between the two. There are not many people who can understand whether the things in front of them, can they be changed or not. It can be a person, it can be a situation. Right now, we are all facing COVID-19. So obviously, the answer to this question is, it is out of the control. So we have to accept the truth. And being an NRI, they will have their expectations about money and all that in a very high way, because already they would have enjoyed some status of life. And for them to come to reality and come to a term where they cannot live that standard would be definitely depressing. But what I would say, it is only a period, like this too shall pass period, maybe a year or two it will take for them to bounce back. But then once they are looking into the situation in a more challenging way, they can do it. But if they think that, oh my God, I've studied, I've had this plan, and that is why I went to this country, and all these old thoughts, which cannot be done. If they're going to, think more and more, ruminate more and more about things which have happened in the past, they are going to get stuck there. Let's see if they're NRI, what are the talents they have, what are the skills they have, how they can utilize in a country like India, and think about how they can be getting back to their family as well now. So if you lose one thing, you will gain one thing. So let's not look about what you have lost. Let's see what is in front of you. Be grateful about, at least I'm surviving in this COVID-19 situation. So I would say for people who are with resilience, gratefulness comes. Be grateful and gratitude. You've lost many things. I'm not demeaning it, but understand that you have other things to look into. Now your talent and your education can never be snatched away from you. It is there with you only. for NRI. So think about how you can, whether you can start a business here with whatever savings you have, or can you, invest into some other industry, or can you go for a job? Now rethink. This is what we call as adapting to the situation. That is how your thinking process should be, in a more problem solving mode, not in a mode where we whine and think and, ruminate a lot. Worrying is not going to help us a little. Nothing. Worrying is never going to change anything. It's not going to change even a small thing in our life. Just you have to think about, how do I get solution? All problems has got solutions. So you should not see it as a problem, but see what's going to be my solution. If you look into that way, NRIs also can definitely bounce back from this tough situation, as we are all going through, with their, with the resilient capacity, and then maybe there will be a problem for 1 or 2 years. After that, I'm sure they can bounce back. So be positive. Positivity is very important in this situation. Okay, so this is my answer, and next question, please.
Yeah, thank you. And one more question. How can you relate Maslow's need hierarchy theory with the current situation?
Okay. Yeah, since I mentioned Maslow, that's my favorite theory. Maslow's theory is a need of motivation theory. So we have, according to Maslow, there are 5 needs. So basically, every human has to go through that pyramid. The basic need is like food and hunger and thirsty. All these are in the basic pyramid. And next is the need for security. And next is the need for love and belongingness. Next is the need for self-esteem. Lastly is the need for self-actualization. So why I mentioned Maslow during this COVID-19 is, wherever we were earlier, for example, we were all in the self-actualization in the 5th pyramid, or in the 4th level called self-esteem. We are all now pushed to the 2nd stage called as need for security. Imagine literally, like, there is a bomb like situation going on. Will you even think of your certificate, preserving your certificate, or even thinking of where your where you kept all the money? Only we will think of as a survival. So similarly, in this situation also, we are like not forced to think about our self-esteem, whether should I get a BMW car or should I get a Benz car, or what I should do with my potential. All that is off for now. We are now come back to a situation where we are in the 2nd stage. So once our need for survival is met and we are all safe, it is reassured that we are going to be safe, then we'll again go back to our original level wherever we were. So this is where I related the Maslow's theory to COVID-19. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll take this as a final question.
Yeah.
Some age-old people whose son and daughter are in other country, and they are more concerned about them, how to bring their stress under control.
Okay, so yeah, I'll answer this question. See, age-old people, this is again a concern. Question is whether is it a true or not? Is it a rational concern or an irrational concern? For example, we have to get fear when there is a snake in our room, but we should not get fear when there is a snake-like rope in our room. Similarly, if there is a question of concern, if there is a real health issue or a risk thing, then they have to be concerned about it, and concern will lead us to take action. But can we take any action on this situation? The answer is no. The thing is, we cannot travel and go take care of their health, or neither they can come down here. So as old people, obviously they are worried about their kids. So what I would suggest is, on a daily basis, you have to talk to their relatives, their sons and daughters who are there. And the sons and daughters, whoever is there, also have to reassure them that they are safe and fine, that they're taking all the precautions. See, what is in our control is to take self-care. And we have to keep washing our hands, and we'll have to take care of the social distancing. And if you are to be in a quarantine, we have to be in a quarantine. These are the situations which are in our control. Please don't watch unnecessary messages from internet or WhatsApp. Okay, you will have to only watch information given by WHO, World Health Organization, or given by our own Ministry of Health and Family Affairs. Just because all the messages are flooding, don't look into it and increase your fear. See, what happens to the fear is, it is all depending about our thoughts. Whenever our thought is like, that's why we say ignorance is bliss. When we don't know anything, we are happy. When we know a lot of things, we are very much afraid. Nowadays, media is also posting a lot of negativity on us. So as elderly people, and obviously they'll be more concerned, and they have a lot of anxiety issues. So first thing, they will open and see how many new COVID cases now in the foreign country, wherever their daughter and son is residing. So please don't look into such information. Tell them that not to look into more such information, and try to do something else, distract them. Now in this situation, we don't have any control. So we got to distract ourselves as far as from the stress. That is a COVID-19. Don't preoccupy yourself with anything about COVID-19 situation. When it is going to come to you, when the problem is going to come to you, that time I can face it. Tell yourself that I'm safe and secure. Tell us all is well. Tell yourself this too shall pass. These kind of positive affirmations will give you some sense of control into your life, and you have to look into things what is in your control. Let me take care of my lifestyle, and as elderly people, they can pass their wisdom to their grandchildren, daughter, take care of their rituals like prayers and all that will help them to stay afloat. So, and network connection is there now. Please talk to them and understand that they are safe and fine through video calls, which will give some reassurance. Thank you.
Yeah, there is a question for Vidya Shankar. I'm budding entrepreneur who started my business after 25 years of working in industry. I had just started with all my investment in January, and now the present situation is well known to everybody. Looking forward, I'm very positive till now. I'm keeping my entire team intact with all the salaries paid and fixed costs paid out. Now is that any smart way we need to focus or change in our strategy? Some guidance to upkeep my organization based on your experiences.
Right, because I'm not very sure of what kind of business is that, but assuming again you are not alone, right? And this is not only interestingly, this is almost one of its kind, where not only the small enterprises are impacted, even very large enterprises are impacted. Today, huge oil companies are going through phenomenal pressure because they don't know what to do with the amount of oil which has been digged, and they don't have space to store, right? So one thing is, the challenge is common for every entrepreneur. Every entrepreneur goes through this challenge because you have a huge size of unproductive manpower, right? Or you are finding it too difficult to employ manpower, geared up digitally, right? And apart from it, the fixed cost, it's what every business you have is something must be handled to be handled, right? And over that, only thing what you are left with is you may possibly have some variable cost which should have drastically should have come down, but the existing cost of fixed cost, you still have to find a way, right? You still have to ensure there is some source of income which is coming in. So, as an entrepreneur, what we want to look forward is, if you survive through this toughest time, the business becomes very, very strong. The businesses which, again, I'm not very sure of how long you're running this particular. So assuming I know a good number of startups, even, right? One thing which I always tell them is, if you sail through this tough situation, I mean, you can sail through any of these, because this may be one of the toughest situations for any of the businesses. And it is all about entrepreneurship is all about seeing opportunity, right? In your business, is there an opportunity which is emerging out of this situation? If you feel there is an opportunity emerging, you are there. And apart from it, digitally transforming the business is going to be the future. Whichever part of the business can be digitally transformed, which can be digitally moved, that must be done right now. Right? It is an opportunity to move most of your business online. So it must be done, because that's going to be the future, that's going to be the way of life. So entrepreneurship is all this. How you handle the challenges, and during challenges, what you tell to yourself. And what we always call it as self-talk, right? What you tell it to yourself makes all the difference. So that's something what I have for you. We take up one more question. Call question.
Yeah.
Question to doctor. One small question.
One private question I've got in my window, and the participant did not want to name the thing. So I'll just read the question. So it's a big question. The essence I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So she's told that regarding the savings, there's a difference of opinion between the husband and wife regarding how the saving has to be done. And the husband is the one who spends a lot of money. And she's asked, he's lost a lot of money right now. and how do I manage the situation? So I would say that, see, there is always a difference of opinion. That is how it makes us life more interesting between couples also. But what you have to do is understand this is a conflict scenario. So you have to resolve the conflict. And for this, lot of skills are involved when it comes to conflict resolution. There is always possible that a person holds one belief, the other person holds the opposite. And one person believes in spending money and the other person believes in saving. How you got these beliefs right from your childhood and how you are brought up, that is fine. You can have your own opinion. But how do you make other people understand? You need to have certain skills called listening. First, what we do is, as a husband and wife, when you fight, you discount the other person's what they're talking also. So kindly listen to them, listen to them and acknowledge their ideas and opinions. You don't just like a discount, okay, what you're saying is wrong. Then they will not even listen to you. First, listen to them, acknowledge, and then tell your point. So always behind any conflict, there will be difference of opinion and the different needs which are prevailing. And when you appreciate each one's need, be empathetic. That is putting yourself in others' shoes and see what they see. You have to acknowledge and say, okay, this is why I'm having this problem. Okay, so this way I'm having this problem, and you have to acknowledge and then go for a brainstorming and where you can come halfway and get some solution to the problem. So this involves some steps actually. So if you think that problem is really going out of hand or something, you may need some professional help. Otherwise, any husband and wife conflict, basic things you should understand is please actively listen to each other. That itself will solve, and respect each other's opinion as well. And then you can tell why it can't be the way it is, and where you see a problem. So a matured adult and adult talk would help here. Thank you.
So I have one last question to you, Dr. Chitra. With that, we will call it as a session.
Okay.
And question what I have is, because in the science of NLP, we used to strongly believe, which also as a fact I have seen many times, that body and mind are so closely connected, right? And say, will lot of positivity in this situation, will it improve the immunity of a person? Will it have a direct because I believe when there are so many people who are impacted by a disease, how come set of them are getting recovered is because of their immunity is what my understanding is. Okay. And that in turn is because of their positive state of mind. Is that a fact? Medically, is it a fact?
Yeah, so we call it as like a placebo effect also in psychology, where there were experiments which were conducted to see the power of belief. For example, one set of people, both the set of people were having cancers. They were cancer patients. So one group had, let's say, 5 people, and the other group had 5 people. So two set of people, group A and group B, were given some treatment. One group was given a very powerful cancer, the antidote to cancer. Cancer medications were given. To the other group, only vitamin dosages were given, but they were told that it's a very powerful cancer medication. But what happened is, the surprising result was, after 6 months, both the group improved in their health. So this is to show the power of belief, how the positive belief had, their expectancy about the medication itself made them to respond well to even the vitamin treatment was nowhere related to the cancer. So this itself will prove the power of positive belief in us. So at this stage, at this juncture, they say that the COVID-19 can affect a person with less immune system. So for improving your immune system, apart from eating the food materials, whatever has been coming out of the media, I would suggest is, it's like the food. So have some food for the thought as well. Like what happens when you eat junk food, you will have stomach problems. What will happen when you take a lot of negative thoughts into your mind? Again, your mind will go for a talk. So we'll have to inculcate positive thinking. As I told you, our mind is not ready for positive thinking. It is not, wired in such a way. We are all wired to be negative. That's for another reason. We don't have much time to talk. So the thing is, we are all wired for negative thing, for our survival mode. But what we have to do is train our mind to see the positive things. So when we look into the positive things and start talking positive words, and even the whole universe, when they start coming and talking positivity, I'm sure a great, even a miracle can happen even when it comes to COVID-19. I would even think about this thing like, always our Narendra Modi has given some task for us. Similarly, one task about all of us thinking 5 minutes positive about our situation in future. I'm sure that will bring about a lot of change in our immune system. And resilience is also about, it's like a vaccination. Vaccination, what happens? You put some virus inside and then you become strong. Similarly, when we are all under stress, we will bounce back and come back more strong than we were ever before. So it is going to strengthen us, not weaken us, I would say. So it's all about how you respond to the situation. So when you respond positively, we'll come back like a diamond which is hardened stone, nothing but a hardened thing. Similarly, when we are going to see it as a challenge and come back, we'll all emerge out as a warriors and becoming more strong than ever before. So this is a testing period for us, and how you respond is still in all of our hands. So the choice is yours.
Very true. So we maybe we have two ways of handling it. One, obviously, social distancing, which all of us know. I think you're forced to practice it, right? And number two is positivity, right? So as of now, only these two ways in which we can handle the current situation, because we don't have any serious solutions yet in our hand, right? So two ways to handle this is social distancing, number one, which we are supposed to practice, and number two is a lot of positivity from within, right? So that is also help you to handle this situation really well. So with all these things, I will take this opportunity to call it as a session. So I will thank Dr. Chitra for all those wonderful set of thoughts. Right, it was very wonderful interacting with you, and I also take this moment to thank Lakshmi. Yeah, Lakshmi is there. Lakshmi Narayanan. I will also thank Sampath, who are co-hosting this session. Thanks all of you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thanks.